consolidation, and charting the way forward. And like I said earlier, throughout the day, we have witnessed some remarkable discussions, very rich knowledge exchanges, and collaborative brainstorming on how space technology can continue to transform governance, development, and the lives of our citizens. So this, like I said, is a very pertinent session, ladies and gentlemen, a very compelling one. And this session is not really about drawing the curtains. It is about carrying forward the collective wisdom we have gathered today and turning it into action for the future. To commence this concluding session, as we take maybe 10 seconds to quickly reset, thank you very much. It is my privilege now to invite our esteemed dignitaries to the dais. Let us begin by inviting to the dais our Honorable Chief Guest with a huge, rousing round of applause, Dr. P.K. Mishra, Principal Secretary to the Honorable Prime Minister of India. A very warm welcome to you, sir. I invite Dr. V. Narayanan, Secretary, Department of Space and Chairman, Space Commission and Chairman, ISRO. Warm welcome, sir. May I invite Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman, InSpace, also in the capacity of the Chair of the Industry Session. He's going to be seated today. And he will also make remarks about the industry session. Warm welcome again, sir. I invite the chairs of all the parallel breakout sessions, group-wise. From Group 1, may I invite Shri Devesh Chaturvedi, Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Let's hear it, ladies and gentlemen, for our chairs. From Group 2, we have Shri Tanmay Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Let's have a huge round of applause, please. Can we have from Group 3, Shri Manoj Joshi, Secretary, Department of Land Resources. May I invite from Group 4, Dr. Sangamitra Patim, Miss Sangamitra Pati, Additional Director General, ICMR. There she is. Let's welcome her, ladies and gentlemen. From Group 5, Shri Rudra Narayan Palai, Member Technology Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunications. Thank you for the applause, and let us continue to applaud our chairs. And we'd like to invite from Group 6, Shri Safi Ehsan Rizvi, Advisor NDMA and Executive Director NIDM. Warm welcome, sir. May I invite from Group 7, Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Let's welcome him, ladies and gentlemen. May I invite from Group 8, Shri Chanchal Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region. Warm welcome to you, sir. From Group 9, Shri Brajendra Navneet, Principal Secretary, Government of Tamil Nadu. There he is. Warm welcome, sir. And from Group 10, we have Shri Rajat Bansal, Special Secretary, Government of Chhattisgarh. May I request all our dignitaries to kindly take their place on the dais. Thank you very much. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to encapsulate the key takeaways from this landmark gathering and present the road ahead, I now take the privilege of inviting Dr. Prakash Chauhan, Director, National Remote Sensing Center and Chairman, Program Management Council for Space Applications, to share the National Made 2.0 summary and the road ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Dr. Prakash Chauhan.
Good afternoon, Namaskar. Most respected Dr. P.K. Mishra ji, Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. V. Narayanan sir, Secretary, Department of Space, Chairman ISRO, Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman Space, all the dignitaries on the dais who are the chairs of the 7 splinter groups, as well as 3 splinter groups on the state-related discussions, all dignitaries, secretaries of various ministries, chief secretaries, as well as representatives of different states, my ISRO colleagues, colleagues from Department of Space, autonomous bodies, InSpace, NSIL, and all the participants who have gathered from all across the country, representing 63 departments, ministries, and 32 states, union territories, and industry partners. Very warm welcome and greetings from my side and on behalf of Department of Space to each one of you at this wonderful event where almost entire India has assembled under one roof, under the umbrella of Department of Space to discuss the utilization of space science and technology for making India as a Viksit Bharat by 2047 or so. So in that context, I would like to, it's my honor and privilege to present the summary of this one-day National Meet 2.0 and the kind of way forward we are looking out of this very mammoth national level exercise. Sir, as we are all aware, the space applications have been the enabler for the national development over a period of time. Today, the Earth observation technology, satellite communication, and satellite navigation, the three sisters in space, are transforming the national development arena as well as providing valuable insight to national strategic sector in terms of defense and securing our borders. If we talk of the typical space applications which has really emerged over a period of time, includes food and energy security, infrastructure planning, natural resource assessment, water resources, land monitoring, and oceans and atmosphere, disaster risk reduction. Typically, the satellite communication helps in telemedicine, teleeducation, direct-to-home broadcasting, and now internet-based services, which enables large applications related to e-governance. And of course, the PNT services, position, navigation, and timing services, are pretty useful for our defense, topographic mapping, and providing geointelligence. And PNT services also catalyzes the various location-based services which are running in the country today. All these things, they help us in understanding the Earth as a system, accelerate the socio-economic development, and to attain the goals of sustainable development, shaping the economy as well as quality and the livelihood of the life. All of these initiatives are very much important, as we have seen during this Operation Sindoor, for the national security. And most of this data, as we have heard from all the panelists since morning, is very important for disaster risk reduction in the country. In last 10 years, sir, we have launched around 23 Earth observation, 15 communication, and 7 GNSS satellites through an ecosystem which is built around ISRO, NSIL, and now InSpace, which is promoting the industrial growth. Along with the industry, we have around 450 plus MSMEs, 50 large companies, 200 plus startups. And then, of course, ISRO is also working with academia to accelerate the space science technology initiatives in academic sectors by having 6 regional, centers, as well as 6 space science technology incubation cells and 300 plus sponsored research work across the entire nation. All these things in last 10 years has resulted a significant amount of economic benefit worth of the order of $53 billion in terms of direct as well as indirect benefits, and also catalyzing economy in various sectors. Apart from that, ISRO is also working intensely with international collaborations with space agencies like NASA, CNES, and JAXA, and recent launch of NISR mission, which is a joint ISRO-NASA mission, is a testimony for our international collaboration and aspiration of international bodies to work with us. In that context, sir, as you may recall, in 2015, under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, the National Meet 1.0 was organized, and this was the first ever mega user meet to maximize the use of space applications in the governance and development, and in using these technology in a synergistic manner. What it led is that the space-based institutionalization has happened almost in 58 ministries and departments and 30 states and UT, resulted in 158 space applications and services, 130 MOUs with different government departments, 200 plus web and mobile-based services, which are basically routed through our Bhuvan, Mosdak, and Bhunidhi geoportals of ISRO platform, and of course the institutionalization of space activity in major flagship programs of governance of Government of India. To name few is basically the food security mission and crop insurance related activities, National Hydrology Program, the Amrit Program for smart cities, and many such initiatives, including the near real-time rail monitoring service, and a very strong geospatial platform called PM Gati Shakti could be realized by incubation of large amount of geospatial services. At the same time, we have also seen that large amount of policy reforms have happened over the last 10 years or so. In 2022, we have enabled the geospatial policy, as well as in 2023, the space policy basically enabled the opening of the space sector for private sector participation, opening up of FDI in space sector, and of course, a demand-driven space infrastructure is set in the country today in terms of realizing the goals of space infrastructure in this country. Now, after 10 years, it's a apt time, and I would like to thank Secretary Department of Space, Chairman ISRO, for taking this initiative to do reassessment of space-based services and data in the country as far as the three major sectors of Earth observation, satellite communication, and satellite navigation are concerned, in view of reforms and policy which has been set in the sector. And the aim of this national meet, too, is to consolidate the current and projected needs of the space technology inputs and prepare a long-term roadmap to see that we have a sufficiently good space infrastructure in this country which can meet the requirements of large amount of data as well as services. Since morning we have heard from various panelists, and all of them are going to just share their views about the current needs and the discussions which has happened in their splinter session. In that context, we would like to thank Honorable Cabinet Secretary, who has kindly agreed to write letters to all central government as well as state government chief secretaries and the secretaries of central government departments and ministries. And that letter has catalyzed a large amount of discussion, and within its Department of Space, 21 committees was constituted by Secretary Department of Space to interact with all these users across the government as well as academia and industry. 8 regional meets were conducted and 2 state meets was conducted with 700 plus participants, and 292 one-to-one interaction meetings were done with the stakeholders, resulting in 90 user requirement documents which has been displayed outside for each state as well as for all ministries and departments. A sectoral analysis of the user requirement were conducted by in-house expert committee which was set up by the Secretary Department of Space, and this particular committee has now aggregated all this demand, and a mission plan document has been generated till 2040 or so, and we will see that tomorrow this particular document will be released on the occasion of National Space Day. What essentially it will lead is to generate a roadmap for the future space infrastructure and the applications in terms of continuity of present applications as well as catering to the newer requirements, and will lead to boost the Indian space economy as a major global space power power in the country, in the world. Sir, these are some of the photographs of some this interministerial interactions. These are the interactions, photographs with states and union territories. 8 regional meets were conducted. Chairman ISRO himself participated in many of them, and he has taken initiative to meet various chief ministers, including the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Assam, and many other states. So, sir, today we are here after this intense discussion on August 22nd, and since morning we had an fantastic inaugural session, followed by 7 specific theme groups, which basically were represented by 63 central ministries, department, and states. There were sessions for all the states, which was broken up into northeastern region and hilly state session, coastal state session, as well as inland state session. 7 sectoral themes on agriculture and water, forestry, environment, energy policy, infrastructure, development and geo-governance, health, education and social welfare, communication, navigation and technology diffusion, disaster risk reduction, and ocean, weather and earth resources. Intense discussions were there, and I could witness almost all the halls were full. and specific requirements were presented, and all the dignitaries on the dais today, they are going to speak briefly about those requirements which has been presented here, sir. And we had an exclusive NGE session just before this concluded session where 8 industries, mainly related to the downstream industries and applications, they presented the kind of work which is happening in the country. Out of all these discussions, sir, we could cull out a brief summary that there is a specific need for continuing various applications which we talked since morning. However, there are requirements for newer applications which has not been done. I will not go through it, but I will just like to list few of them, that there is a great need in this country for parcel level crop monitoring, as we have seen from the industry partners also. We have a very intensive crop insurance support scheme in the country called YesTech, through which the remote sensing data is being utilized. We need to continue this as well as enhance this crop insurance support through remote sensing and the geospatial platform. Large scale soil mapping is the need of the hour, and of course there is a huge requirement for ocean and atmosphere, especially the 3-dimensional mapping of the atmosphere in terms of handling issues like cloud burst as well as extreme weather events. High-resolution topographic data at centimeter level is also a requirement from various stakeholders. And in terms of disaster risk reduction, many times we have seen that at the time of disaster, we really lack observations, and our disaster management session extensively dwelt on, monitoring extreme weather events, generating, very fast velocity data on forest and farm fires, especially during the crop burning seasons, as well as disaster loss assessment, early warning in terms of thunderstorm, floods, and landslides, and multi-hazard risk assessment, considering various different natural disasters at one go. Our NISR will also enable to understand the crystal deformation and subsidence which are required to be, understanding for the seismic and aseismic processes associated with earthquakes as well as landslides. Now, in order to meet some of these new requirements, the need has been expressed that we need to augment the current EO infrastructure. Right now, we have, almost 55 satellites. 23 of them are in the Earth observation domain, but many of them are in strategic domain. In civilian domain, many of the satellites are aging, and there is a requirement, for continuity of services. We need to really replenish the suite of these satellites. So high to very high spatial resolution with high temporal, availability is the main requirement of various stakeholders, so that sub 1 meter, especially 30 centimeter to 50 centimeter data is available to the users on a very repetitive basis is the main requirements which has been presented. As far as agriculture and water sector is concerned, they want to have continuity of 5 meter data. And of course, the climate related aspects in terms of atmospheric chemistry. Ocean and atmosphere require a lot of data on the vertical structure of the atmosphere. We need to launch sensors like LiDARs for 3-dimensional winds, as well as enhanced ground stations and calibration infrastructure is also needed in the country. All this data today is so voluminous that the conventional means of data delivery are not going to be sufficient in future. We need to have in-house, India-made, cloud-based architecture to access this data and develop analytical solutions mainly driven through AI platforms. That's the critical thing which we need to think as far as the data delivery is concerned. This is the sectoral demand which has come out. I am not going to go through it, but critically, essentially we have I highlighted that what kind of sensors are required to be built in future to cater the requirements of different sectors. Similarly, the requirements for the ocean and atmospheric applications have also been mapped, which are going to trigger the blue economy as well as climate resilient infrastructure development in the country in years to come. All this data, as I told you, without the advanced data processing, analytics and dissemination capabilities is of no use. So we need to build India-centric cloud infrastructure as well as what we call as the Indian Earth Engine kind of a platform where a user need not copy data from one machine to another machine. The data is available to all the users, which is analysis ready, and the user can come run its.
Shri Devesh Chaturvedi, Secretary, Department of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, to please render his remarks. Sir.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable, of application of agriculture is concerned, lower premium rates in application of satellite technology in Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. Then we have also weather dissemination to the farmers, accurate crop estimations, drought and flood relief related information, which has gone a long way in bringing the technology to the farmer level. The way forward which has come out was that we need more and more models for identifying the crops in terms of area and in terms of the productivity and losses. Presently, we have good models only for wheat, paddy and soybean. We have to expand it to other crops which are grown predominantly in the country so that we can use this for not only for crop estimation, for losses estimation, and for even we need little bit of more accuracy and resolutions in assigning the data to a particular plot, because we have small and marginal farmers with less than a hectare of plots, and therefore more accuracy is required so that we can use this data and just do away with any manual sort of surveys. So we also will have to build, and we have to work ourselves to build the capacity of the departments and ministries, because a lot of data comes from satellite, but how it has to be analyzed, used for policy making and for various usages, that is something where our own officers need to have built-in capacities, and we will work with ISRO to have these capacities built in near future, sir. As far as the other issue is that obviously the data will be used to analyze, will be needing machine learning and AI models, and for that, rather than being dependent on global giants, we will collaborate with our own academic institutions, the institutions of excellence for ICR and the space research application centers, so that we build our in-house machine learning and AI models, which can then be used to disseminate very, very important information to farmers so that they decide based on a very informed decision about the weather, about the soil, about the water conditions. So these are the few, some sort of go ahead apart from the technical specifications which ISRO will come out, and they'll come out with new satellites, maybe in the PPP model, which will then be used for data, procuring the data from them and using it in agriculture sector. These were the major takeaways which I have mentioned in the brief. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, from Group 2, Forest, Environment, Energy and Policy, may I request Shri Tanmay Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. Sir, please.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, Secretary, Space and Chairman, Space Commission, my senior colleagues on the dais and dignitaries present here. Sir, in our group, there were actually 4 ministries: Ministry of Ayush, Ministry of Power, Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, and Department of Biotechnology and Department of Science and Technology. Sir, we had a very detailed discussions and presentations. There were a total of 8 presentations, and the discussions in various groups actually lead us to one major, conclusion, that space technology is actually all pervasive. It is something that, touches all the departments, the lives of individuals. In the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, sir, we had multiple rounds of discussions with the nodal officer of ISRO, who was present in the discussions. The discussions actually led to the presentation that we made today, sir, on how to use space technology right from the Himalayan ecosystem to the coastal areas, to the riverine ecosystems, to the wildlife management, to control of pollution, abatement, and also for prevention of forest fires, and how we actually can use the satellite data more effectively, and what are the constraints. The Department of Biotechnology focused on leveraging space technology for advancing India's Bio-E3 policy, focusing on sustainable biomanufacturing, space biotechnology, and biodiversity mapping to support scientific innovations and national development. Ministry of Ayush actually wanted to use the satellite data for medicinal plants and to see how the satellite data can be used to find out the suitable ecosystem for growing certain varieties of medicinal plants. How do we actually monitor the conservation areas, and how do we actually manage herbal gardens in an effective manner. Ministry of Power emphasized on integrating the high-resolution satellite data and the artificial intelligence and machine learning that go along with it for actually chalking out the alignment of various transmission lines, also on the disaster management system in the coastal areas. Ministry of New and Renewable Energy was using the satellite data for assessing the potential for solar power, wind power, and the ocean energy. Department of Science and Technology enumerated the role in strengthening innovations in space technology through National Quantum Mission, National Supercomputer Mission, National Climate Mission, National Geospatial Mission. So one of the things which also emerged was the application of space technology in disaster risk reduction, which is a universal thing, whether it is predicting cyclones, mapping flood-prone zones, or monitoring forest fires. The other need which was felt was how do we access data, space data, and how we utilize this data effectively. And for that, there was a feeling that we should have capacity building of our scientists also in various ministries and the officers so that they can utilize this data efficiently and effectively. The overall emphasis on actually attaining the goal of Viksit Bharat at 2047 through the use of satellite data was emphasized by all the presenters, and it is one of the important underlying factors that helps us in policy making, in decision making, sir. These were the few takeaways from our group, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, from Infrastructure Development and Geo-Governance, Group 3, I have to invite the rapporteur, Shri Satish Jayanti. Sir, may I invite you to please join us on stage? There he is. Shri Satish Jayanti from Group 3, Infrastructure Development and Geo-Governance.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, respected Secretary Das, respected other dignitaries on the dais and all the dignitaries in front of me. Group 3 deliberated about the role of space technology in the domains of infrastructure and geo-governance under the leadership of Sri Manoj Joshi, Honorable Secretary DOLR. And we have had all in all about 10 different ministries and departments, mainly land resources, rural development, Panchayat Raj, POS, statistics and program implementation, Mahua, road transport and highways, culture, tourism and justice. The assimilation of the space technology in these ministries and departments has been at various levels. Some have been at an advanced stage, some are in the basic stage. And accordingly, when we try to look at the overall structure, overall outcome of this, their deliberations, some of the key findings that I can summarize here are, one thing is the need for diverse sets of satellite data, mainly focusing on the very high resolution to high resolution. That is one domain where the satellite data is expected. Some have been asking for digital elevation models also. This is one of the key requirements that has been put forth by them. Then the second thing is the enhancement of capacity building in the line departments in various ministries in their manpower. That is one thing that they have asked for. The third one that has come out is incorporation of advanced analytics-based solutions and which are customized into various requirements of the ministries. This is one thing that has been coming out. And the fourth one is more and more intense cooperation between the ministries vis-a-vis the space technology providers, that is ISRO, DOS, and InSpace, and all these partners. So these are some of the main key highlights which have come out in the deliberations. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That was Shri Satish Jayanti, the rapporteur of Group 3. And now we go on to Group 4, ladies and gentlemen, Health, Education and Social Welfare. I'd like to request Dr. Sangamitra Pati, Additional Director General, Indian Council of Medical Research, to kindly share her brief remarks. Thank you, madam.
Namaskar. respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, all my distinguished chairpersons of all the groups, esteemed delegates. I am representing Group 4, and this Group 4 is Education, Health and Social Sector, which encompassed starting from Department of Health and Family Welfare, Department of Health Research, then Department of School Education and Literacy, Higher Education, Women and Child Development, Youth and Sports Affairs, Youth Affairs and Sports, and lastly, but very importantly, Department of Scientific Research departments such as CSIR and DOPT and Skill Building and Entrepreneurship. So this group, which is very heterogeneous, but all unified with the collective goal of how can we use space technology for improving daily life and making citizens empowered. Almost all the departments are already engaged in some way or other by using and leveraging space technology for making their job much better. So what the common themes or the common themes or requirement that emerged, let me summarize that. First is all the departments agreed that they need high resolution data in terms of using satellite data for navigation, for Earth observation and for communication. And all the departments agreed that they require capacity building and training in two ways: training on space technology and training for space technology. Using space technology, how different training programs can be leveraged and how training programs can be designed on space technology so that India is space literate and each one of us knows how to use space technology for better lives. And all agreed that space technology is viewed as the greatest leveler and greatest enabler and the strongest tool for ensuring equity and reducing digital divide. To highlight some of the key findings or key discussion points, for example, Department of Health Research highlighted that space technology is the tool if we are going to be a pandemic resilient nation and be prepared for any future public health emergencies. Similarly, Department of Health and Family Welfare suggested that telemedicine and geomapping of health facilities can be the future tool for ensuring that each Indian receives equitable, affordable and accessible health care. Department of School Education and Literacy emphasized that each school should be geotagged and each child must be space literate. Similarly, Department of Higher Education also highlighted that there need to be a culture of space, which means organizing space workshops, events can popularize space technology into our daily life. So all the departments also suggested that we must collaborate so that space technology is not only mainstream but also becomes our daily enabler. Thank you.
Thank you once again, Madam. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Group 5, Communication, Navigation and Technology Diffusion. May I request Sri Rudra Narayan Palai, Member Technology, Digital Communications Commission, Department of Telecommunications. Sir.
Thank you. Respected Chief Guest, Dr. P.K. Misra, Principal Secretary to Honorable PM, Chairman ISRO, and Secretary Department of Space, Chairman in Space, Chairs of Group, Dignitaries, and ladies and gentlemen. This is my privilege to present the summary report of the Group 5 on Communication, Navigation, and Technology Diffusion. From my telecom background, it is the aspiration to reach each and every nook and corner of this country, all areas, all people, any point of this territory of this Bharat. And this is only possible by satellite communications. There is no other means that you can reach each nook and corner of the country. And I must thank the group, this co-chair, Dr. Anil Kumar, Director IS Track, and the reporter, Dr. Chandra Prakash, the Director SAC, for finalizing the summary report of this group. Sir, in this particularly group, we had 8 presentations, and that is from Ministry of Railways, Department of Telecom, Ministry of Information Broadcasting, Ministry of Electronics and IT, Department of Promotion of Industries and Internal Trade, Department of Commerce, Department of Empowerment of Persons with Disability, and Ministry of Labor and Employment. So these, from this, the discussions, that transpires is there is a need for the demand of the use of space technology, space applications, and user requirements, and that is, and it ultimately translate into the demand for transponders and speed and bandwidth. And being the part of the Department of Telecom, the spectrum management is the subject of telecom, and we are, that Department of Telecom is assigning the spectrum for this communication. And as far as the railway is concerned, they are using the space applications heavily in Kavach for using Navig for safety of these passengers, and locomotive assessment and management, advanced Navig system and satellite spectrum is required for future. That is their assessment, and they need to more, they are into using the more of these applications in futures. So this is the vision for them. And Department of Telecom, this satellite communication is used extensively and to proliferate the connectivity or footprint in the country and ATMs, and that remote, this communication is possible only through the VSATs. EMOSATs are used for this disaster rescue and relief operations. And there is a need for the need for the low orbit sovereign constellation at space. And this is possible only when we have ecosystems that support it. And recently, that Department of Telecom has also given license to 3 operators at the low orbits. So this is very much required for the country to cover this. And Ministry of Commerce, they are using for their logistic movement and monitoring this logistic and warehouse management. Ministry of Electronics and IT, they are using this they are using these applications, space, that is GIS-based applications, and also they are using many applications concerning facing the citizen services. And they are also into the Make in India initiatives, manufacturing, this SAT-based that terminals, and they are also making the chipsets. So under the Make in India initiatives. So they are also asking for the high bandwidth to reach out to all the citizens. Then Department of Department of Justice, Social Justice, that they are using SATCOM for inclusive and assistive technologies and smart limb and sensor-based applications they are using heavily, and there is a need for further developments. Means that Department of Labor, they are using this space technology for determining the illegal mining, and also for e-Sanjeevani in ESI hospitals, and there are many such applications they are also rolling out. So that all those are 8 departments which gave their presentations, there is aspirations. And this aspiration is to have a sovereign non-GSO satellite, that Constellation, Navik 2.0, space-based quantum communications, where this our national security is protected by having our quantum-based communications. Advanced GIS systems, mobile satellite service to cover each nook and corner of the state, direct-to-cell communications and broadcasting, robust space-enabled ecosystem. And in concluding note, sir, the collaboration across ministries shows that space for development is space for all Indians. And goal is to harness space technology for safety, connectivity, inclusivity, efficiency, and sustainability towards Viksit Bharat 2047. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And from Group 6, Disaster Risk Reduction, we invite Shri Safi Ehsan Rizvi, Advisor, National Disaster Management Authority and Executive Director, National Institute of Disaster Management. Sir.
Respected Dr. P.K. Mishra, and to all the dignitaries on the dais. Thank you to ISRO for having organized this national meet 10 years after the first one. The first one has succeeded immensely, and today what we have for the group that I speak for, disaster risk reduction, we have an excellent system by which we get our information on geospatial related needs. However, we are very greedy and we are looking at new technology, we have new problems, we have serious climate change issues coming up. So our group met, sir, in which we had CWC, IMD, MNCFC, GSI, we had the border management groups also from the security forces, we had ITBP and BSF. So we had fairly detailed discussions, and prior to that also we've had several discussions. So at the end of the day, everybody needs very high resolution. So do we, because if we do not have high resolution, how will we do a digital elevation model if we are planning a urban flood program for Delhi or for Mumbai? If we if we are not able to distinguish between a gully and a road, and we have a 30-meter resolution versus a 1-meter resolution, it makes all the difference in planning. So as for planning, A-class resolution is what we need. Post-disasters, figuring out what really happened, as happened in the South Lonak Lake, it took us about 3 days, and then we got an imagery which was high resolution and was able to tell us that it was actually a landslide slip from the glacial melt, which led to a landslide slip which crashed into the lake. But for 3 days we did not know that what exactly happened on the South Lonak Lake. So as regards GLOFs, the need for high resolution is very high. Then as regards the second serious aspect of geospatial science, the spectral part, interferometry is something that can help us predict landslides. It can help us predict that a glacial lake is getting to be very high risky, but that is not easily available today. And the third most important thing is the temporal part, which is the passes. The passes are very few and far between. The kind of satellites that we have had, there has been attrition over the last few years, obviously because satellites last about 5-7 years. That attrition has to be made up in quick time. And lastly, just to make this short, sir, I would like to say that if we look at the dividing line between climate and disaster management, between disaster management and national security, the line is becoming very thin. There are disasters that happen, the mountainous hazard disasters that create serious issues with regard to the security forces, and it impairs their preparedness. And if you compare both lines of work, sir, national security and disaster management, both of them require risk reduction, they require preparedness, and they require response. And all three of them are similar for both categories of work. And we are losing a lot of lives that we lose in the disaster management side than we use for national security. So our group has come up with a fairly detailed plan of what kind of LEO, MEO and GEO satellites we would require. It would be a small constellation of maybe 7, 8, 9 or 10 satellites, which ISRO will eventually decide. But the need for that, sir, is immense. Otherwise, we will fall behind and not be able to do our task as desired. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. And from Group 7, Ocean, Weather and Earth Resources, it is now my privilege to request Dr. M. Ravichandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Sir.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister Dr. P.K. Mishra and other dignitaries on the dais and distinguished invitees and delegates. Sir, in our group, there are about 8 ministries and departments participated. Essentially, they were covering various aspects of, one is resources, how we can get it, another one is a disaster management, and the third aspect is a communication. So these are the 3 areas widely they covered. The first ministry, of course, the Ministry of Earth Sciences, wherein they required the satellite for improving weather forecast and also to harness the ocean resources, especially blue economy, to realize, and also various other small communication devices in the ocean for platforms and other things they have highlighted, including there are about spectral, hyperspectral imaging sensors, and all microwave as well as visible, optical, all the things they have highlighted what are they required. Presently what they are using, and later on what is the requirement in near future, and also when we want to realize the Viksit Bharat in 2047, what are the requirements that also highlighted. And the second ministry is the Ministry of Mines. Essentially they covered basically what are the geomorphology mapping, how it is to be done, especially for mineral resources, and also some of the landslide aspect, how the satellite data, especially the multi-temporal optical imaging, how it will be utilized for the landslides as well as the resources. And mainly the multi-frequency SAR data they are requested in the high frequency. And the third ministry is the Department of Fisheries. Mainly they were covering for potential fishing zone. Now we are making the fisheries ecosystem is up, we know from the satellite, but they want species specific as well as they want also communication device, because where the ships are going to different places. And lastly also to make various policies for the inland fisheries as well as for aquaculture and the deep sea fishing, what are the requirements in terms of satellite things they highlighted. And the fourth ministry is the Ministry of Port, Shipping and Waterways. So essentially they were telling about how the ocean weather and that information, how we can from satellite, and also mapping of lighthouses and other things so that we can use for the tourism development and other things apart from NAVIC system for communication of various ships and real-time automatic imaging system as well as the tracking system, how we can use for the satellite. So they have requested some of the new infrastructure from the satellites, and also high resolution microwave and optical sensors are required for various purposes, including multi-hazard vulnerability. And interestingly, Ministry of External Affairs too, it has in this group, mainly they were talking about the leveraging space for diplomacy. Essentially, they space cooperation with other countries, how we can contribute in terms of other neighbors, in terms of capacity building, and how we can use some of the satellite sensors for their own applications and various aspects they have highlighted. And the Ministry of Cooperation and of course Food and Public Distribution, their main requirement is a NAVIC system for time synchronization, because they are looking for the one time for one nation. In that aspect, how we can utilize the NAVIC system, because the atomic clock and other things, how to synchronize, and also some of the geotagging of a major infrastructure, how satellite can help in that direction. They have highlighted their requirements. And the Ministry of Coals, of course, they are also requested for remote sensing and GNS for mining before and during mining and after mining, how the various features are changing geomorphological, and also what is the stock, coal stock measurements, how we can use the space technology for making that various aspect. And lastly, the Department of Atomic Energy, of course, the Department of Atomic Energy also, they were looking for exploration of mineral exploration, especially uranium, thorium, and rare earth metals, where it is resource available, and also equally they are contributing co-development of various products and services along with ISRO. Essentially, in this aspect, they have asked for many of the geostationary as well as polar orbiting, and also some of the things are inclined orbit, and there are nanosatellites and many other aspects also they have requested with various sensors. I am sure that the table we have already summarized for the next decade, what are the sensors required, and then for 2047, what are the requirement of sensors and satellites also highlighted from this group. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And now from Group 8, Northeastern Region and Hilly States as well as Union Territories, may I request Shri Chanchal Kumar, Secretary, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region. Sir.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished dignitaries on the dais, ladies and gentlemen. So in my group, there were 8 states of Northeastern region, plus Jammu Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, and Uttarakhand. All these states basically suffer from the same challenges of difficult terrain, because of which the logistic cost becomes higher, prone to disasters, remote and sparse population, because of which access to healthcare service delivery becomes costly, fragile ecology and biodiversity challenges, and constraints of the smaller states. But in the last 10 years, these states have taken up various measures on their own to use space technology for the benefit of their developmental journey. Some of these measures are making up of any data repository, using space technology for mapping of natural hazards, use for horticulture crops, making MIS for that, convergence with PM Gati Shakti, survey of heritage sites, making an app for encroachment detection, carbon stock assessment, groundwater mapping, mapping of wasteland, land degradation. Also, this was used for mapping of renewable energy estimation, of fishery resources, pineapple plantation, agarwood plantation in Tripura, glacial mapping, mapping of water bodies, and many such initiatives. This was also used extensively in telemedicine in some of the states. After deliberation by all these 12 states and NEC, we agreed on certain way forward, sir. First one was we should mainstream space technology in governance, algorithms, and workflows. It means that all the line departments of the state should use routinely satellite data in planning their resources, in monitoring and making effective service delivery. Building resilience for managing disasters. These states agreed that we should use better technology for warning systems, for real-time monitoring, for which we require real-time high-resolution data, and predictive analysis. So this predictive analytics is also required, using AI, IoT devices, AIML solutions. There was also a need felt that we need robust communication devices and system in case of serious disasters where people feel stranded. It was also unanimously decided and thought that we should have increased institutional capacity. We should have partnership with ISRO, NISAC, Northeast Space Application Center, Shillong, states, industry, and the purpose would be that all these states should be able to analyze the data, have that in-house capacity to use the data for their intended purposes. It was also felt that we should use satellite data for biodiversity tracking. Northeast especially is a hotspot in terms of biodiversity, and using a spectral reflectance we can find out whether a particular native variety it is going down in the last 10 years by a rate of 5%, or it is increasing, and accordingly a prescription or advisory can be given to a policy planner that we need to do this. So this is possible, and this was thought that maintaining a biodiversity could be a very useful application of space technology. States have also used it for tourism and heritage conservation, and it was felt that this would be enhanced. It was also felt that in urban areas of hilly areas, use of space technology is very much warranted and has been helpful in places where they have been used. These states are typically small ones in terms of their own resources, so there was a need indicated by some of these states that we need some financial support in order to have that in-house capacity and applications. It was also felt that we should encourage startups, R&D, particularly use of AI/ML, 3D and drone technology to better utilize the space data. Some of the states are also working on digital twin technology, and there were some useful suggestions given by some of the states that we should have virtual space lab in schools. We need microwave data because of the cloud situation. So all these suggestions were given, but it was unanimously again thought by all the states that the current pace of support by ISRO and by NISAC, especially in Shillong, it has been so good that they felt that the way forward is very clear and it is feasible and achievable. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for Group 9, Coastal States and Union Territories, I invite Shri Brajendra Navneet, Principal Secretary, Government of Tamil Nadu. Sir.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, dignitaries on dais and all the participants today. I present this on behalf of Group 9, which was a set of coastal states and union territories. In our group, sir, we had 11 states and union territories, 7 states and 4 union territories. And we looked at these presentations and we have divided it into our way forward into 4 parts. First one is on the past and present analysis, that we found that we have good use cases. Most of the states, they have presented that they are using some sort of space application and they have some data availability. However, the handicap was that it is not across all states that the same set of applications are available, whereas other states felt the need of the same set of applications. So the recommendation here or the suggestion here is that can we have the repository of available applications so that we can upscale and expand to all the states at least the available space applications cases. Then we ventured into the future use. We again had a very good demand aggregation. For the first time, we have got the demand aggregation, and thanks to ISRO that what they have done in last 3-4 months, we had a regional meet at Bangalore, almost same set of states and union territories. And each state and union territories, they have come up with the set of future needs booklet. And that book is giving the aggregation of demand side, which is sectoral based, agriculture, fisheries, urban, water, forest, education, health, planning and statistics, disaster management, you name it. All parts we are covered in that and very specific requirements are there. The second requirement on future was on the technology side, sir, that whether it is the resolutions or the periodicity of that particular data sets or the images which is required to be given at a particular fast pace or better resolution. The next set of requirement for future was the depending on the nature of economy, because some of the states were more vulnerable to the disaster or particularly the islands. Some of the states were more dependent on the tourism sector. Some of the states are dependent on the marine sector, fisheries and all. So it was felt that if we can have for a particular set of economy those available data sets and we can handhold and move them on the fast track basis, it will be very helpful. So this aggregation, that future aggregation was, the idea was to create market economy through innovation, industry and institution partnership. The third part of our recommendation is the institution building and capacity building. So this required different sets of data to be standardized, and there we need support of ISRO that those data standardization, if it is done, it will be very helpful for each state to, or even within a state, each department to look at what set of data they are looking at and in what format it is available in the market or with ISRO. Then on the institution side, sir, we require the capacity building at the state level. Some of the states have central institutions, some of the states have central plus state institutions, some of the states have autonomous institutions, and some of the states have institutions residing in some university or educational institutions. So we need to have different set of these institutions, again, tailor-made from the need point of view of each state. And if we can have some more regional centers touching base at least in each state and union territory, so that some format where immediate hand-holding, if needed, it can be given. The last point, sir, was on the use of commercial and the needs of financer. So there we felt that to meet the financing need, because most of the time it is felt that ISRO will foot in whatever is the requirement or demand. It was felt that if we can put the baseline cost and the savings which these technologies bring with efficiency or innovations, that can be used as the baseline cost saving and can be used for future use of procurement of such services or applications. So with this, I thank sir for giving us this opportunity to participate in this, and we will keep working with ISRO and Department of Space for future use. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, from Group 10, Inland States and Union Territories, may I now invite the rapporteur, Shri Shashikant Sharma, to kindly join us on stage and render his remarks. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Sir.
Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable PM, delegates on dais and all delegates. We had in Group 10 presentations from different states, which are inland states, including Bihar, Chandigarh, Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab, Rajasthan and Telangana. The session was chaired by Rajat Bansalji from Chhattisgarh, and co-chair was Pankaj Kiledgar, Director NCF. These states have been doing using remote sensing data for decades. Like UP was the first state to have its remote sensing center. They are using remote sensing applications in agriculture, water resource, forest, and many other things. But the common requirement which comes at the end are something like this. So all the states need very high resolution data, less than 1 meter of spatial resolution in the optical domain. And also they need a high repeatability of 5 to 15 days. And there is an urgent need of a very good high resolution digital elevation model. And apart from these general applications, many of them have additional applications in the field of so high resolution synthetic aperture radar, that is radar data. Some need hyperspectral data, and also thermal data are needed. Then what they need is some application APIs from various all portals, and also they need some capacity building in the new technological fronts like AI, ML, cloud computing and all. So these were some of the common requirements from all these states. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear from Dr. Pavan Goenka, Chairman InSpace, on the special industry session, and he's going to render his remarks in the capacity of the chair of the industry session. Sir.
Dr. P.K. Mishra, Dr. V. Narayanan, dignitaries on the dais, friends. It's been a very long day, but I think an excellent day. Each of the departments from Delhi government, from central government, and each of the states have gone in depth to identify use cases, and I think have gone way out from what the current applications are to think about things that have not been thought of before. And they have thrown a challenge to ISRO and to the space industry to meet their requirements for future. I can clearly see a deep data hunger in everyone, and solution hunger in various departments. And therefore, I see an exponential demand growth in the next 5 years. From the private sector, 8 companies had presented today, and I hope you got a glimpse of what the private sector is capable of doing. Of course, in many cases, just starting. You heard about work on improving agriculture yield, on water and disaster management, on weather forecasting, on marine and logistics, on adaptive traffic control, microsatellites, and so on. I think what we'll do going forward is have ISRO and INSPACE work together to create a triad, as I said earlier in the industry session, of the user department, of ISRO centers, and one or more private companies for each use case, where applicable. And I believe that this one day has created at least 5 years' worth of work. And at the end of it, will provide unimaginable societal benefit, will require perhaps $1 billion plus of investment, will generate a lot of employment, and will generate tens of billions of dollars of revenue. And as I said, have unimaginable societal benefit. And I have no doubt that in 5 years, India will lead in space applications and will become an example to the world. So I would like to thank all of you who have participated for the last 3-4 months in this exercise, and especially thank Chairman ISRO for leading this whole initiative from the front. And the outcome is something that I actually not imagined. It will be in just a 3 to 4 year time frame, 3 to 4 months time frame. Thank you very much for your presence here.
Thank you very much, sir. And with that, we thank all the chairs for the brief summaries. Now we will hear remarks from the Secretary, Department of Space, and Chairman Space Commission and Chairman ISRO, Dr. V. Narayanan. May I request you, sir?
Very good evening to all of you. Most respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister Dr. P.K. Misra ji, who is the Chief Guest for this function, Secretaries to various central ministries and departments, Secretaries from state governments and UT, Chairman in Space, dignitaries on the dais, and my dear friends, very, very good evening to all of you. We have come to almost the final phase of the national meet. I am extremely happy that today we have got Dr. P.K. Misra ji, the Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister as the Chief Guest. As we know, he is a distinguished administrator with a multifaceted personality and career. Dr. Misra's expertise, backed by his scholarly publications and strategic insights, has been instrumental in shaping effective governance and development policies in India. I happened to hear one of his outstanding talks very recently, what he made in IIM Bangalore. I could understand he is not only an administrator, he is a technocrat par excellence. He gave a talk on the disaster management, what was done and implemented in Gujarat. And I was so surprised to hear that talk. He was talking about technology. He was talking about how to manage the finance, how to post-disaster, how to handle. I think it was a very, very outstanding talk. So such a great person we are having with us for this session. That too, a person with few words, but outstanding contribution. Sir, we are extremely thankful that you are here with us for this function. So let us give a big hand to our Principal Secretary. And when you look at the space applications, to be frank, 50 years back, nobody would have thought that the space will be contributing in every area, every field. In fact, we used to jovially sometimes tell, to understand the application of satellites, one day evening, 5 to 9, we should switch off all the satellites. Then we will understand really what it is doing. We cannot have any ATM transaction, weather forecasting, and the border monitoring, train monitoring, nothing can be there. and the life will come to a standstill. That's what we strongly understand. Today there are 55 space applications. And ISRO, to our credit, more than 4,017 rockets are lifted off from this India. Something around 102 launch vehicle missions, 133 satellite missions. And everything is for what? For bringing benefit of the advanced technology to the common man of this country, in ensuring safety, security, ensuring the improved quality of the life, ensuring the happiness of the life. Actually, the Secretary, Ministry of Earth Science, he used to make a statement. We have to really manage the weather. Right now, really, weather is managing us, and there is a time, maybe another 10 years from now, we have to manage the weather. For that, satellite technology is a mandatory requirement. When you talk about blue economy, yes, satellite technology is required. When we got independence, 97.5% people were below the poverty line. Today, we have ensured food security in the country. Surely, the satellite technology has helped in a very big way in that area. Take power sector. When we got independence, hardly 3,061 villages only had power. Today, almost all 6 lakhs villages are having power. One way or other, to some level, the space area has helped. Now, when you come to this national meet, the purpose was very clear. In fact, there was a time we used to build the satellite, place in orbit, go behind the departments, sir, why don't you use the satellite? That was the situation. But it was Honorable Prime Minister who gave a clear direction. It should not be done like that. We should say, take the user requirement, whatever they want, you have to build, so that they will be part of the entire development process. So it is with his vision we started this exercise. In fact, 9 years back, we had the National Meet 1. From that, today we have come a long way. Today we have conducted the National Meet 2. I think I am not going to talk about all those things what was summarized, but I want to tell a couple of things. The breadth of our aspirations, we are no longer looking at space technology as a supplementary tool. We are embedding it into a core operational framework of our national development and strategies. The strength of our collaborations, the synergy between central and state agencies, industry, academia, and startups have emerged as a defining factor in shaping India's space roadmap. The urgency of our actions, with the space sector undergoing rapid global transformation, our timelines must match with our ambitions. Whatever we are going to bring out as a vision document, surely it is going to bring great benefit to our country for making this country as a developed country. Couple of places really we have to concentrate. The indigenization. For example, when you talk about communication satellites, the TWT, a crucial component, today we are importing. We have started the indigenization, but it has to go in a very big way. When you talk about navigation system, when you talk about navigation area, importing atomic clock, and we cannot talk great about that. Today we have initiated the atomic clock indigenization, and the quantity of atomic clock production has to go in a very big way. Hyperspectral imaging satellites. Really we have to improve a lot the hyperspectral imaging capability. And the resolutions of cameras, really we have to improve. And lot of requirements are there. And dear friends, one of the good suggestions which came out is, yes, we are meeting the national meet after 9 years or 10 years. And it was suggested by Secretary Agriculture, why don't you visit once in 3 years? I strongly endorse that view, sir. Actually, we have to have every 3 years, we have to revisit and rewrite the requirements and the development strategies. And whatever recommendation has come, we are going to take everything very seriously. And we are going to work towards that. On this occasion, I wish to thank Honorable Prime Minister for his outstanding vision and guidance for having the national meet today. And as I told in the morning, coming years, when we talk about a developed country, There should not be any space between space and common man of this country. You have to ensure the space area is utilized by every common citizen of this country. And with this, let me thank each and every one of you who have contributed in whatever way possible. And let me also thank my team for your outstanding work, whatever done in very short span of time. And once again, let me thank the chief guest for participating in this function. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much indeed, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, now to align today's deliberations with the future vision, I invite Shri Nilesh Desai, Director, Space Applications Center and Chairman, Apex Program Management Council, to present the mission roadmap, translating today's insights into a strategy that advances the vision of Vikasit Bharat 2047. Ladies and gentlemen, Shri Nilesh Desai. Let's welcome him.
Thank you. Good evening to all. Respected Principal Secretary to Honorable Prime Minister, Sri P.K. Mishra ji, Dr. Narayanan, Chairman ISRO, Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairman in Space, and all the other dignitaries on the dais. Let me thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to give you a glimpse of roadmap to space infrastructure. I am notorious for not keeping my time, so please stop me when you. So we'll go to the.
You have maximum 7 minutes.
Next. Somebody told me in the morning that you didn't remember Vikram Sarabhai. So we are all working on the vision given by Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, and he used to say that we want to use space for the benefit of common man and society and the country. And that's what we have all assembled here to do that. Of course, somebody also told me that ISRO means rockets. But today all of us agree that ISRO means applications, what we have seen today. And there is also one more relevance, because India's space program started from applications, what Sarabhai told. And all of you may remember, Chairman ISRO in the morning remembered SITE. 50 years of SITE we have completed on 1st August 1975. We started this program, so we are going to celebrate in a big way, 2025. Similarly, STEP, where first time we tried, Sarabhai used to say that if you want to make satellites use space research and technology, then first you should know how to use satellite for various applications. And the wheel has turned full circle, and today we are all here to see that applications are given more prominence. So that's how TV broadcast using satellite, communication using satellite, remote sensing using satellite, and that's what we are going to do now with all these activities. Coming to the current scenario, today we are working on almost 51 satellites. Of course, you forget about the left-hand side, space exploration, Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Gaganyaan. Today, Sarabhai used to say that we are not here to compete with advanced countries to go to moon or Mars or put man in space. But that was that time. Today we have all these things also to do, and of course human spaceflight has caught the imagination of everybody. But that is only 25-30% of activity which we do. Rest 75% is what we are seeing today, various applications. But when you see this chart, you see that we have to work out the Earth observation program. Of course, many things were presented today related to Earth observation applications. But if you see satellite communication, navigation, we have some program charted out. But Earth observation, we need to work on that. We have only a SBS3 program, which is more for strategic sector. So we need to work on various other activities. This is what we charted out, the vision for 2047, related to Earth observation for every 5 years up to 2047 and beyond 2047 during the recent Chintan Sibir, which we had held in Visakhapatnam. Of course, this is a superset, and today, after listening to all the stakeholders, we'll come out with the subset of this particular activity. So we have all these activities lined up, whether LIDAR-related thing, ground-penetrating radars, and of course, quantum radar, which was mentioned by somebody. Communication also, we have plethora of programs already lined up for the Vision 2047 to be achieved, and quantum is going to be a big element in that. Similarly, for navigation, of course, we have to operationalize NAVIC. That is going to be the very big challenge, and we are struggling as of now. We have already completed 25 years, and that is the reality. So, because navigation, it is not only space segment, it involves ground segment as well as user segment. So, a lot of activity needs to be done there. And similarly, strategic sector, we had been working continuously for various activities, the demands of the strategic sector. And now coming to what we listened today as a part of the outcome of National Meet 2.0, this is what we have worked out, the various activities related to our land applications, which Prakash mentioned, the gap areas about various activity which we do, and based on that, we have worked out the various mission, continuity missions, technology demonstrations, as well as new missions as per the demand